Good morning and welcome to another episode of Craft Here and Now. Today I would like to do a review of the Lion Brand 24/7 cotton yarn. This is the very first time I have ever worked with this yarn, so I really did try several things with it. Now, first of all, let me tell you about the yarn. This particular skein is 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, 186 yards. It's a number 4, and the color is eggplant. For this, I wanted to work up some dishcloths, and I'll tell you what I started with. So let me just set this aside. I started by making a Tunisian dishcloth. However, this way, I was unable to finish it, and it had nothing to do with the yarn itself. It's just that several years ago I suffered a fall, so I have quite a bit of arthritis in my thumb joint, and I have to use the very softest yarn when I'm doing Tunisian crochet stitches. So other types of knitting and crochet don't bother me quite as much, but for Tunisian, this yarn was just a little bit too tough for me to work with. However, it is very soft. It's, I would say it's probably similar to peaches and cream yarn in softness. Yeah, probably I would say it's about like that. And for this particular pattern, if you would like to see how this is done, you can watch episode 1 where I do a demonstration. It's a very versatile stitch. It can be used for dishcloths, blankets, lots of different items. And for this I used a K crochet hook, which is a 6.5 millimeter. So again, it had nothing to do with the yarn. It's just this particular stitch. So I wanted to go ahead and try it with traditional crochet, and I made this one with this hook, which is a G hook, 4.25 millimeter. And although I used this, I realized that I should have used a smaller size, maybe an F, which is a 3.25 millimeter, because as you can see, the gauge is a bit too loose for a dishcloth. I prefer to be a little bit tighter for this particular item, but it's a gorgeous yarn. It works up very well. It's actually smooth to work with. It just seems to glide along. And I realize now that this particular color, eggplant, is a little bit more difficult for you, the viewer, to see. So if I do any other dishcloths in the future, I'll be sure to use a lighter shade. And then I wanted to try some knitted dishcloths. So for those, I went to Yarnspirations and I found 2 dishcloths by Bernat. And they recommended Bernat handicraft yarn. However, I did not use Bernat handicraft yarn. I obviously used this yarn. Let's see. So I can tell you the first one is the Bernat Eyelet dishcloth, which is really a lovely, lovely dishcloth. Actually, I like it so much that I'm going to use this pattern and work this up for some gifts as stocking stuffers this year. And people love handmade gifts, so it's beautiful. This is the wrong side. This is the right side. It's very easy to do. It's a simple pattern, and it works up very quickly. It's beautiful. And for this, I used a, what is it? It's a US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter knitting needle. I used the same knitting needles for the other pattern that's on the page, which is a Bernat. It's called the Bernat Simple Ridge dishcloth, and that's this one. And as you can see, it it kind of goes, it's on a bias because the way it's knit. Now both of these are corner to corner, so you start in one corner, you increase to the middle, and then you decrease. And as I said, it works up very quickly. So I was disappointed in this particular pattern. I'll use it for myself, but I would not want to give this one away as a gift. I don't care for the stretch that's on the bias like that. It's just not as attractive as the other one. I really prefer this one. This is a beautiful dishcloth. It will make a very nice gift. The only other thing I wanted to say, and also I can show you, when you go to Yarnspirations for these patterns, this is what it looks like. They're both on the same page by Bernat. However, when you do the eyelet dishcloth, be careful when you come to row 15 because you're going to be on a purl row. So your first yarn over, you're going to have to yarn over twice in order to create the eyelet. And then for the rest of the row, you just need to yarn over once. But it's very important to yarn over 2 times to create that first eyelet. So that occurs on row 15 and also on row 43. And these instructions repeat, so you have to be aware of that. Now, if you were to try the simple ridge dishcloth, the second one I showed you, these repeats, it was more confusing for me to do this pattern because they're on the right side and the wrong side. They have switching knits and purls. So one side on the wrong, for instance, on the wrong side, sometimes you'll have a knit row, sometimes you'll have a purl row. And then sometimes on the right side, you'll have a knit row or a purl row. So I thought it was more confusing to follow this pattern. So that's all I wanted to say about those. But you can find these on Yarnspirations, and they are free downloads. The only other thing I wanted to mention about this particular yarn is that it is 100% cotton. However, it's mercerized. Now, I wasn't really sure what that meant. So I did some research and I looked it up, and mercerized cotton is made up of cotton fibers that have been chemically treated. And they do that so that the yarn is shinier, it's a little bit stronger, and that it retains the dye better. So had I known that, I probably would not have purchased this yarn to make dishcloths because mercerized cotton is less absorbent than regular cotton. So that is the only downfall that I found for this particular yarn to work with, to work up as dishcloths. Now, if I were to rate this yarn 1 to 5, I would definitely give it a 5, although I'm going to say 4 only because it's mercerized cotton. So again, mercerized cotton is less absorbent. So it depends on what you're using it for. It would make a beautiful top or maybe a blanket. And I'm wondering if maybe some of this chemical treatment in this mercerized process, the process they do mercerizing with, maybe would wash out over a period of time. However, I don't know. It's possible. I'm just guessing that maybe it will wear out over time, but I don't know. And also, I have not washed these, so I don't know the shrinkage percentage. It is 100% cotton, and there will be some shrinkage. So that's to be determined after I put these through the wash. Okay, so hopefully that review of Lion Brand 24/7 cotton has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to enter them. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate the time you take to watch these videos. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.